What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 404 show on this Friday, May 1st, 2015. To my left, Mr. Ayaz Akhtar. How are you, sir?
Good. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. To help welcome me back, we've brought Russ Frushtick, longtime friend of the show, to the program on this Friday afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm lovely, thank you, new dad.
Yes. So I guess we got to get that out of the way, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's sort of the elephant in the room, the baby elephant in the room.
That we don't know the name because I didn't report it.
Wait, you don't know the name?
Well, the audience doesn't know the name. I'm not
You
saying.
Oh, okay.
Should the audience know the name?
I
I put it on
guess.
Facebook, and I didn't know if it was public or not, so I didn't say it on the show while you were out.
Fair enough. My baby's, my new son, his name is Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
He is a strong child. He's from family
Like
Stark.
emotionally strong, you mean?
Yeah, he's emotionally strong,
Yeah.
physically strong.
Okay.
He's already walking around,
That's awesome.
ice skating,
Wow.
Yeah.
and he's actually learned to play the guitar as well.
Okay.
That's some dexterity for a baby.
Is
That's
that a
amazing.
full-size guitar or like a ukulele?
You don't know, we're only doing like a smaller,
Okay.
ukulele sort of
It's
situation
definitely
for
less
now.
impressive as a ukulele. You're right.
Yeah.
I know.
Less strings.
Yeah.
I mean,
The amount of regret I already have as a parent is just completely off the charts. Anyway, I want to thank real quick everyone. So many people wrote me emails and
Oh.
sent me little love notes and advice, and everyone in the subreddit who really took time to give me little hints and like I said, advice and words of encouragement. I got a lot of emails about people talking about naming the kid. I got from some really smart people around the country and the world. So I want to thank every single person who reached out. Even if I didn't, write back to you, I read everything and I appreciate it. And I thank you, Stacy and I thank you from the bottom of our collective hearts.
Yeah, because I guess Dylan doesn't rhyme with anything gross.
Villain is cool.
Yeah,
Dylan.
yeah, that's cool.
Dylan.
But it's not like it rhymes with fart.
No.
That would be
weren't-
the concern.
Yeah, we weren't trying to do fart
Right.
rhyming names.
The smart move.
So what I really actually wanted to talk about real quick is the names that got rejected.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this
okay.
is going to be good.
So for the longest time, so Dylan was always on the list.
Sure.
Dylan was on a very short list of about 3 names. The other names were Ethan,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and Ethan's very hot right now.
Is it?
Yeah, that would be my concern is picking the name and then you read that list,
Yeah.
they release it and it's like, oh, these are the top 10 most popular baby names. Oh, my kid is like number 2.
Yeah.
That would be my concern.
And it's really fun when you're in a park and trying to call your kid by
Right.
name. It's like,
And 7 kids turn around.
yeah, it's a real problem.
So Ethan is like number 6
Okay.
for the last 4 years.
That sounds
so
about right.
I was like, all right. Like when we were growing up, it was like Matt
Right.
and
Michael.
David and Michael.
Sure.
And now I have 19 idiot friends with that name. So
Yeah.
we're like, all right, maybe let's go a little off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
So what else was on the list? We were thinking
Pavel.
about
I heard Pavel was in.
Pavel, as in like Pavel Datsuk.
Of course.
No, we were thinking about Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler was on the list, but I feel like Tyler is making his way up.
Sure. Yeah.
In
I think it's
popularity?
It's increasing maybe. Sure.
There's a lot of him.
I feel like these are all pretty grounded names though. Was
Yeah.
there like window? Was that one of the options?
No,
Moonbeam.
Spectacle Bakalar was up
That's
there
like a
on the
sound
list.
check name right there. Spectacle Bakalar.
Yeah,
Spectacle.
it's a lot of. So my kind of like out of the box suggestion that I still to this day am open to and will change his friggin'
Sure.
birth certificate. I really wanted to name, and people are going to call me crazy. I wanted to name my son Jamie.
Jamie
I want to
Bakalar.
name him Jamie. That's what I want to do.
Why is that out of the box?
Right.
Well, it's historically a female name.
Not
No.
according to A Song of Fire and Ice.
Exactly. Jamie Lannister.
Right.
Jamie.
Not exactly the person you want to emulate.
No,
But
no.
Jamie
but
Kennedy.
he needs a sibling first for it to get weird.
Sure. Yeah, Jamie Kennedy, you got X.
Jamie Kennedy.
Right.
Jamie Foxx. There's a hockey player, Jamie Langenbrenner.
Okay. I think
there's
Jamie's kind of nice.
Jamie's cool.
But isn't that short for James? I always thought it was short for James.
I don't know. Where do you get to the
It's a
point where
nickname for James.
because
The
yeah,
first
but
3
also-
letters are the same.
right? But it's like some people named James are called Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay,
so
sure.
I think, but his name would have been Jamie.
Jamie,
It would have been
fine.
like Jamie
Right.
or whatever.
Okay.
Or
Didn't-
whatever. You didn't actually finalize the
No,
spelling in your
no.
head?
Well, we didn't. So yeah, we didn't even finalize on Dylan until he was about 2.5 days old.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, 'cause
so you
we
just
were-
called him Baby?
Baby Bakalar. It's just
Weird.
BB. The
BB.
BBs.
BB. Okay.
So yeah, for a while he was kind of nameless.
Huh.
Hey, you, as you walked into
Well,
This guy. This is the guy
This
right
is the
here.
guy. I know you.
but think about it. You
Fist
know,
bump.
we were between. It was like the whole Tyler,
Sure.
and they were like, you know, there were things happening, and I then I see. I saved this to the end, and I made a late game push
Okay.
post birth.
Yeah.
I wanted to name him Corbin.
Corbin.
What?
Yeah.
After Corbin Dallas.
Yes.
Right. Multipass.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't fly.
No, it wasn't happening.
No.
Corbin
Did she
Bakalar.
appreciate the reference?
I don't even think she appreciated the reference.
No. See, the second Corbin that I think of was from Major League.
Bernstein?
Corbin Burnson.
Which one?
That's right.
Who's that?
He plays Roger Dorn.
Oh,
That actor that plays Roger Dorn.
the shortstop.
You watch
Yeah.
Psych? He's like the dad on Psych right now.
Okay, no, I don't watch that.
Major,
okay.
Major League, really?
Come on, Dorn, none of this Olay shit. That
Is
that
April
guy?
too early for a Roger Dorn night? So that would have been definitely a connection.
All right. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have related to that, but fine.
Sure.
If it pacifies
I'm sure
more
the
than
school
one,
kids would have made a lot of Corbin Burnson references.
Corbin Dean
Totally.
Bernson. That's his name.
There you
Wow.
go.
Real fancy.
How'd they spell it?
Corbin.
So Corbin Dallas does it with
Ian.
a K.
Oh.
He does a K-O-R-B-E-N.
That's really obnoxious.
But I wouldn't have done that. I would have done
Good
the
luck
traditional.
finding a license plate with that when you go to Disney World.
Right.
Corbin.
Us
Yeah.
traditional Corbinists, as we're referred to, use the common Corbin. Anyway, shot down.
Yeah.
So that was really it. That was like the short list. I feel like I should be answering a lot of
Yeah, what
like,
names did you shoot down? Because I'm sure Stacy had her own ideas.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, no, we're not naming this kid
Well,
Steve.
so we had like a doc of names that were just it was getting stupid.
Right.
Like there were like 38 names, and we had narrowed it down to like 5. She was hot on Teddy.
Teddy. Like Theodore?
Yeah.
Theodore.
Bakalar.
But I don't know if you should necessarily name your kid just for the nickname. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a friend who did that. I'm not above it. I'm just saying.
And what's good about Theodore and Teddy is that he has a lot of options.
He does.
Like
He's got a versatile situation.
What up, Theo?
Yeah, Theo is cool.
Right.
There are a lot of variations
Dor.
of Theodore. What else was she hot on? We did. Oh, Blake.
Blake
Yeah.
Bakalar?
Yeah.
Like, what is he, like a villain in an 80s high school
It's about
movie?
alliteration.
And he rides a motorcycle. Blake Bakalar and his gang of tough guys.
See, my whole thing is I kind of didn't hate Blake, but then I instantly now think of that country dude, Blake Shelton, and I'm just so
okay.
turned off by that dude.
Yeah, no, preppy evil kid is what springs to mind for me.
Right. And we weren't going to do any of those like Kyle or Skylar
Yeah.
or any of
Tyler,
those.
but not Skylar.
But Tyler, well, because Tyler, Tyler
more grounded,
Durden,
like
Tyler
Russ said.
Durden's pretty badass. So,
Durden would be an interesting name.
Yeah.
Durden Bakalar. Durden. That just sounds fun.
So yeah, you somehow pulled it off with Aldrin.
Yeah, I named him Aldrin
you
after
made
the
it-
astronaut.
Yeah, you
Because
made
I have
that
a weird
work.
name, and his mom's got a weird name. Her name is Merlin.
Merlin, like
Merlyn.
the magician.
No, like
Why?
Mickey Mantle's wife, and her
Oh.
grandmother's name is Merlin. 'Cause
Really?
it was a hot
Wow.
name, like in the 40s or something.
Wow.
Is it
So her grandmother's name is Merlin. And
I guess Merle.
Merle? Yeah,
I've
Merle.
heard a lot of Merles.
M-E-R-L-I-N.
You know a lot of Merles?
So we're like, our name got hacked to death in school. Like she was always called Marilyn. I was always called anything else but Iaz. I was called Eaz a lot, which I get with the Ian name because there's an I in the front.
Of course.
And so we're like, what's a cool name that's not like that everyone's gonna have, and it's actually gonna test the teacher, because if the teacher doesn't know who Buzz Aldrin is,
Right.
the second man on the moon, the guy who basically designed all the tests for every astronaut and every like spacewalk thing.
Yeah.
If they don't know how to pronounce it, maybe the kid doesn't go to this school, right? So we went with Aldrin, and
That's
I was like, that's like I think it was like the second name, first name I came up with.
Yeah.
Because I always go through the
Good.
alphabet. Like
Yeah.
my dog's name is Audrey, after the 3Com Audrey. It's a computer that nobody knows about anymore.
That's a weird thing to name a dog after.
Yeah, she's not named after Audrey
I
Hepburn.
was thinking Audrey too from Little Shop of Horrors.
I've never seen that.
Oh.
Never. No, wait, I've seen that once. So now I can shut that up. Before anybody starts sending me emails about Little Shop of Horrors, which is on HBO now,
Yeah.
which I've checked out on Netflix. Yeah, I will see it again.
The name's a tough thing, and I really wasn't. I mean, I did always like Dylan from the very beginning. Even when I was a young kid, I remember being
Reading
like, "Oh,
Archie
Dylan."
comics with Dylan is one of the characters.
No,
you know that,
I don't
right?
know why I always liked Dylan. It had nothing to do with 90210.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
too bad.
you wanted him named after Luke
Yeah.
Perry. Then there's that weird Fifth Element connection again with Luke
Oh
Perry.
yeah, for Aziz Light.
Aziz Light. So yeah, that's the kid's name. His middle name is after his mother's maiden name, so it's Dylan Davis Bakalar.
Very
Lovely.
nice.
And there you have it.
That seems very common these days.
Well, you
The
can't,
middle name thing is
Right.
very common.
you can't get a. You can do whatever you want, of
Right.
course. Davis worked because that can fly.
Right.
I've heard other attempts at doing that where like you
Right,
just
their
can't.
full
Your middle name
name.
can't be Friedman.
Right.
You know. what
Although
I mean?
I've heard the opposite. I know kids with middle names, and the middle name is like enormous, and the last name is like enormous.
It's a nice little sandwich.
Yeah.
So yeah, the birth was very smooth.
Okay.
Quick.
Let's get really detailed.
You heard the whole story. I told Russ
The
over
day
the
you
phone.
actually left on that Friday, we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I think we're having a kid or something," and then you just left.
Yeah.
Was that actually the day of the birth or not?
So that was Friday the 10th. She gave birth that night at 3 a.m. So it was Saturday the 11th is his birthday. We went to the hospital right when I got home, and the doctor, because she had called the doctor, and the doctor said, you got to come in. And we get there, and the doctor was like, you're just not there yet. So we're like, shit, well, what do we do? And I was like, be honest with me. Like, what should we? She's like, go home. And then just see what happens. But then around 11 p.m. that night, her water broke.
Yeah.
And she was I guess, in true active labor for about 4 hours, which is amazing.
lucky her then.
Yeah, lucky her is right. But it was amazing. From that point where she was in excruciating pain to like little baby crying out in the real world was really
That's sort of like
quick.
a roller coaster. Like, can't really. I guess I know a lot of people it goes on for longer, but that is like sort of a rapid.
Definitely. You could tell too, like when all the doctors and all the nurses are coming in and they're just like, you could just tell like everyone's like, oh, this is accelerated.
Oh, we're gonna wrap this up pretty quick. I can go home
You
soon.
can tell like they're looking at the clock on
Yeah.
the wall and they're all like 10 minutes.
We're gonna go for a record.
Yeah. They're like, I remember the nurse, this nurse kept saying to me, she's like, by 3. Don't worry, by 3 o'clock. And sure enough, 9 after 3.
Apparently, Joe Pesci is a nurse where you were by 3. It's,
Don't worry about it. 3 o'clock, this kid's got to be here. You don't worry. Mark it. So, yeah, that was it. And everything's been pretty good. He's a good man. And I'm just, everyone's talking about not having sleep. And I've been sleeping okay because he goes in these like 4-hour spurts.
And,
Nice.
And what is the deal in terms of breaking up that responsibility of waking up and like dealing with him?
Well, so Stacy's been amazingly generous with that for the days that I've come in.
Sure.
She's let me not get up.
Okay.
Which is amazing.
Sure.
But like a night like tonight,
Yeah.
he'll wake up, I change him,
Yeah.
give him the boob, and then I'm pretty much done until the next time he cries.
Right.
Yeah.
So what? Stacy also has to get up?
Well, she's got to feed him
Right.
with her boobs.
No, I understand.
Yeah. So
we kind of figured that.
yeah. So what are you?
I guess the question,
Yeah. What is
from a
what is the
strictly
question?
economical standpoint, what are you like? She's getting up anyway.
Yeah. Why do I get up?
I mean, to be supportive, sure,
Of
but is there
course.
like an actual benefit?
It's
to you
shared
being up?
misery.
Yeah, you gotta
right?
tag team it a little
Okay.
bit. I mean, I'll be honest. I almost feel like I get better nights of sleep when I am getting up
Sure.
because now I'm just being woken up by a crying baby,
Right.
and I'm like sitting there, and everything's happening in the room, and I might as well
It's
just
not
get
like
up
okay,
anyway.
Sure, I understand. Yeah.
So maybe between the three of us,
Yeah.
next week when I come back for 3 days of the week, maybe I'll sleep in a different room or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's between us.
Or you're just gonna fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, I fell
Well,
asleep.
have you considered? So in Peter Pan, they use the dog as a nanny. I believe it's even called nanny or nana, perhaps the sheepdog.
Right.
Have you considered that as an option?
Yes.
Okay.
And Marty, he's up to the task.
Okay,
It's amazing what this dog is doing
sure.
with the amount of like instinctual sort of knee-jerk things that have kicked in with him.
Yeah.
Where I know I'm like shifting your joke to like reality,
Right.
but he's like genuinely interested and is very inquisitive about the
Did
whole
you do
thing.
that hat thing that I
We
told you
did.
about?
We
Okay.
did that. And he knows he's like a very delicate living
Sure.
organism, and he likes to, he's gotten a couple licks of his head in, which I guess there's nothing
Yeah,
we can
that's
do
fine.
about. But he's been licking.
Isn't your dog really small? So how did this
Yeah,
dog
he's-
get to the level of the baby's?
Yeah, he's real small.
So how did
He's
Yeah,
only like 30
Are
pounds.
you holding the dog in one arm and
No,
Dylan in the
sometimes he
other?
comes up on the couch,
On the
and if
couch.
you're holding
Oh,
him
okay.
in
Yeah.
your arm, he'll just be like,
Yeah.
and then just give him
We're
a
just like
little.
It's good for an immune system,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's
a dog
fine.
lick.
Well, he's
just
not spitting in his mouth. I mean, he's licking his head. What's
Right.
the problem?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's healthy for a baby.
Yeah, because when he has the like dog tongue imprint on his head
it's
that
not
he'll
like
have
that.
forever.
It's not like that.
Like, Dad, why do I have this weird like dent in here?
So you've been through this. How old's your boy?
He's almost 5.
Oh, so he's like an old man already.
Yeah, he is.
But amazingly enough, Dylan is like lifting his head. He's moving it around side to side.
I do that every day of my life.
I know. And you do it real well.
No one ever applauds me for
God
that.
knows how you do it with that
I'm
gigantic
applauding you right
noggin
now.
on top of your shoulders there.
That does seem advanced, though, because you have to do like that tummy time thing, right?
So tummy time, he's killing it already. He's literally, you put him on his belly and he lifts his head from side to side.
Yeah.
For a 3-week-old, that's pretty good, right?
Sure. I don't remember, man.
You don't remember.
That's all I hate.
It's like all of this stuff of like, okay, you're barely sleeping, and then there's like lots of books and there's lots of apps that are like, oh, this is what they're supposed to be doing. It's like,
I ain't doing any
whatever.
of that crap.
Like whatever happens, he's gonna be fine.
I'll bet there's going to be like a VR solution for parenting pretty soon where you just strap the helmet on the kid and like leave it for 6 hours, and it's like does education, does mothering,
Ooh.
and you're set.
Well, here's what I'm surprised at.
They'll freak out when you take it off.
Right. What is this horror show?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, that's really what happened, because essentially the thing's in the uterus for 9 months, and
Right.
it's in this like super tight, comfortable apartment.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like,
It's like when Red gets out of prison and he doesn't know what to do with his life and ends up hanging himself.
Exactly.
Like, he doesn't know.
knows no other life.
Exactly.
And it's such a traumatic transition.
Not Red. Who was the old guy that hangs himself in Shawshank Redemption?
I know.
Brooks.
I knew what you meant.
Brooks was here.
I knew what you meant. Brooks was here. It's just this traumatic,
Sure.
eye-opening
I
sort
can't
of thing.
imagine.
And
Literally eye-opening.
right. So, you look at it, and the most popular belief right now is that like the 3 months after
Right.
it's born,
The fourth trimester.
is the 4th trimester, where the kid came out just because it biologically had to,
Right.
as a means of like,
If it was
volume.
a kangaroo, it'd still be in the pouch.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or any other animal, I guess, that can have a bigger uterus and could pass a larger head. And so that's the thing. So it's so weird. So like he barely, his eyes move around, but he doesn't make eye contact. He doesn't have real control over his
Evasive,
limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dodgy little bastard.
Look me in the eye, damn it.
Well, sometimes you slap him around and then
Yeah,
it
piece of
locks.
cake.
But yeah, so this whole sort of like gestation period outside of the womb, I'm surprised they haven't decided to like pop on a VR on a baby just to continue that, fetal sort of experience. You laugh and you smile.
There's
But
probably,
like,
like, light-
someone's gonna
That's
do
a
that.
horrible idea.
There's probably like light. Like,
I don't want to do it.
like
I'm
a
just saying.
nightlight solution that's like I don't know
Well-
what it looks in there, but it's pitch black in there. You wouldn't see anything.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
got
I
the
guess.
thing where like you're supposed to put the kid's like head near your heart so you can hear your heartbeat. That's a
Right.
good way to
I always picture like inner space, but I don't think it's like that.
It's not like that. Which is such a great
It's
movie.
like super red and
Such a-
well lit.
Yeah, right. Like Body Wars, the
Right.
the Disneyland movie
Right, exactly.
ride.
That,
Yeah.
that's recommended for
You would
kids
really
taking the
need a
Body
lot of
Wars.
lighting if you went in there. Like you
Yeah,
would
but-
need a lot of
Oh,
lighting.
that's
Yeah.
why you get hue lights. There you go.
No,
Right.
but you know
You go
what?
red.
It's probably dark inside your body, but I
100%.
bet, yeah, 100%. But I'm sure there's parts where you can some light.
Yeah,
come
some
through.
translucence. Sure,
Right.
that's true.
Right.
In the arms.
I don't know about translucence in the uterus though. How much?
No,
No,
there's too
there's
many
a lot of layers,
Yeah, there's a
right.
lot of
Yeah,
layers.
you might-
That's
and then
super
you got,
deep.
You got like you've got amniotic fluid in the way, and so it's probably
Well, fluid's clear, but that's
it's goopy, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be anyway.
yeah. I didn't want to get into that part
It's
of it.
probably like the Matrix, like being in that thing.
How about this? I'm not going to get gory on you.
Oh,
and
boy.
everyone wants to know about the actual moment of birth.
Really? Everyone wants to know about
Yeah, that's
that?
what everyone asked me.
I
Did you
didn't-
watch?
Oh, yeah.
That's what everyone's asking.
It's more a question about you than it is the actual moment.
They don't want the details. They just want to know if I
Yeah.
endured.
Did you survive that?
It is not as gross as you think.
Well, what were you imagining? Like Alien?
Well, no, I had seen
It's
it
not as
on-
gross as you think.
I had seen it like videos of it the way we all do in middle school.
This was in higher res.
This was in HD.
This is over H. This is over H.
super
Yeah.
8K.
OLED.
Yeah. This was it's not as intense. What I was and maybe this is the most graphic I'll get.
Okay.
The umbilical cord
Eesh.
is such a magical sort of thing in terms of like what it looks like. Like it
something
looks
out of
like
Stan
somebody
Winston
built
shop.
it in a
It's like a
factory.
product.
Yeah.
It looks like a product.
It looks like it was made.
Yeah, it's a Stan Winston product. Awesome, man.
Ralph Nader.
Right.
God bless that Ralph Nader.
But
Quality
it
control
does.
standards.
It looks like something out of Alien.
Yeah.
Like if you ripped it off like the alien ship.
Right.
Like the whatever.
Like a great prop from
Oh, like a
Independence
Geiger
Day.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Geiger thing. Exactly.
So yeah, that's where
Terrifying.
we'll I guess we can leave.
And
it.
now it's on your mantle.
Yeah. Oh, now, yeah, we just let that harden up and just
bronze it.
Man, it was crazy. You know, it's weird. You know that he's born. He comes out and they put him on this like, you know, warming table, like where you put French fries.
Sure.
Where McDonald's puts their fries.
Right. Yeah.
And I just like put my finger down and he just grabbed it.
Right.
And I was like the first thing I was the first human he touched.
Well, second.
No,
Right.
they all had gloves.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about Stacy there.
No,
but
well,
she doesn't count because
that doesn't count.
how does that not
touching
count?
it for a while.
That's what. Well, it's still one.
I'm not touching my heart right now.
Oh.
Are you touching it? You know, you're touching your kidneys right now? Come on.
Well,
What?
No, you mean like because it was inside of you.
Yeah.
I guess you are. But I was the first thing he grabbed
Well,
onto.
here's the question: when you guys have sex, is she touching you? Because effectively, that's what we're talking about.
Anyway, moving along. That was a great. You got me there. You got me there. You got me
and
there.
scene.
Oh my goodness, that was great. But yeah, that's the story. Thanks again to everyone who reached out. It's been a wild ride, and yeah, you know, he'll be on the show next week. So, oh my God, we have to do this ad real quick. Nothing's wrong with your podcast. It's just us doing an ad because somebody gave us money, and that's a good thing. So here's Ayaz.
Today's sponsor is Casper Mattresses. These guys are obsessed with making mattresses. They only make two things: mattresses and nothing. You can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by going to Casper.com/CNET and then use the code CNET, and that'll save you $50 on the purchase of a mattress. Now, Casper Mattresses, they use a mix of latex foam and memory foam because it brings you the right sink when you're lying down and the right bounce when you're not lying down. There's also a risk-free trial and return policy. You can try out the mattress for 100 days. That's 100 days. If you're not happy, Casper will pick up the mattress for you. You spend about a third of your life in bed, so you should have the right mattress. It's $500 for a twin, $950 for a king-size mattress. Those prices are way lower than other mattresses out there. So head on over to Casper.com/CNET and use the code CNET to save $50 on the purchase of your Casper mattress. That's Casper.com/CNET. Use the code CNET. Save $50 on a Casper mattress.
Thanks, Ayaz. I feel very dirty right now. Let's get back to the show. All right, let's turn the tables towards Russ Frushtick.
Oh boy, pressure's on.
And this is something we got asked in our subreddit as well. And
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you answer this.
Okay.
So you've been on the show since you left Polygon.
Yep.
You've been doing a lot of things. What are you doing?
Okay.
What is Frushtick doing?
So
is the question we got.
I have been doing a lot of things over the last 6 months. Many different things, and I can really say, and this sort of sucks, but I'd love to be able to talk about it. But in the very near future, I will be doing one specific thing, which is very, very cool that I can't quite talk about yet.
You dodgy son of a gun.
I know, but it's cool, and literally within the next, I would say 2 weeks, certainly.
Oh, so the timing of this appearance on the show is perfect.
Well, it would be perfect if I could actually talk about it, but I can't quite yet.
It's a pre-announcement.
Pre-announcement. But so suffice to say, you will be hearing, if you care, you will be hearing about what I'm doing, and I'm very excited to be doing it. It is not 100% removed from what I had previously been doing, but it is different as well. So
Okay.
that's vague.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
that
So
So you're going to
answers-
do a thing that you might have done before.
Honestly, this is just an excuse for Jeff to have me back so I can actually talk about it.
That's probably accurate. All right, so you've answered 0
Yeah.
of the questions on my sheet,
Right.
but I guess I have no choice but to accept that.
You can nod and smile and appreciate my caginess.
All right.
And the ability to move your head.
See, that's what's so intriguing about you. You're just this bundle of mystery.
Right.
And I guess that's what draws me to you.
Babies are also a bundle of mystery. So me and your baby,
We got a lot in common.
very similar.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just take that answer. Russ Frushtick is up to we don't know what, but he'll announce it very soon.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Well, you can still talk a little bit about video games,
I can.
right?
I can. I've been playing a lot of video games.
So what have you been playing?
So I've just been playing Destiny, and that's it. No.
Good night, everybody.
No. Let's see.
You know what Destiny is,
I'm
right?
aware.
So you don't play games at all?
I
Are
don't.
you literally no better to me than Justin was?
You
I don't know
in this
what
capacity?
that means.
I mean, Justin knew nothing.
There are good gateway.
Well, look, I know
games
that
we can get
Destiny,
in.
like, basically is like a Halo clone, and
Okay.
it's made by
So
Bungie,
you-
and I know the story
yeah.
behind
Oh.
it, and like basically it was kind of what's the word, lukewarm reception to the
Yeah.
whole thing, and it's kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but it's not amazing.
Right.
Because everyone was like, it's super exciting, and everyone
Right.
was,
And it came out, it was a little.
Well, this rocket
disappointing.
scientist still plays it
Still
every
playing
day,
it.
which
Okay.
just blows me away.
That's what I know.
So you're still playing Destiny.
Still playing Destiny.
Amazing.
Kind of crazy.
That's because crazy is accurate, because I would imagine only a person with severe issues would continue to play this game as much as
Yeah,
you currently
I don't play it every day, but I do play it. I would say certainly once a week because I have a group that we play, and it's fun for an evening.
So it's
and
out of obligation that you play.
It's
like
a social
raid,
thing.
but
It's
it's
a
a
social
social. It's
yeah.
fun,
I get that.
and it's not like randoms. Like it's actual people I know, and it's like a fun. For like the group activity, it's a lot of fun. I could totally get if you're playing solo. I don't know what would keep you playing for that long, but yeah, I mean, I've already spoken at length about Destiny.
Of course.
I totally get why people aren't into it, but it's cool.
So
It
what
has
else?
gotten better?
What else are you playing?
I finished Bloodborne.
Oh, you finished it.
I platinumed Bloodborne.
What? What?
Because I'm a maniac. We know I'm a trophy achievement
So,
maniac.
so for
person.
people that don't know, Bloodborne was this amazingly difficult,
RPG
relentless,
made by the people that made Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
and you 100%
Yeah,
platinumed it.
yeah.
How did you do that?
I'm good at video games, Jeff.
It
You
took
know
me.
this.
It took me a really long time just to beat the cleric beast.
Yeah. Well, I will say he is actually one of the hardest bosses in the game. I don't think they balanced it right. 'Cause
Okay.
It like peaks.
It took me about 23 times
Yeah,
to beat him.
yeah, he's obscene, and the camera is all terrible. That's one of my least favorite boss fights. In the game.
Okay, so for someone who maybe is very intimidated by a game like Bloodborne,
Yeah,
and
it's
they hear
intimidating.
about your amazing achievements
Yeah.
in this game, what advice do you have for those people?
I would say if you've never played a Dark Souls game before, feel free. Don't feel bad about reading guides for the game.
Totally.
Because you will get very frustrated very quickly, especially on boss fights. And the game is still really, really difficult, even if you're reading guides. It's not like you cheat and get everything you
And
need.
you had to do that to finish the game.
For parts, there were parts when I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. And there were like helpful tips.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a gorgeous game. It's one of the
Really
prettiest
is.
games I've played.
It's really great.
The art style is like Victorian, crazy werewolves. And I was just really, really impressed by it. And I played the crap out of it for like 3 weeks.
How many hours do you know? Because there's no timer
There's
on
no
it.
timer
See,
on it.
they're crazy. I hate
know,
games that don't
I
have
wish there
timers
was.
on them.
Although I've looked at my Destiny timer and it's just depressing.
What is it?
Last I looked.
Is it over 1,000 hours?
No. I think around 400.
400 hours. Quick. What does that equate to in days?
In days, I was going to say 10 work weeks.
Oh, God.
That's horrifying.
Destiny should be paying you.
They should. That is not my new job. I'm not working at my team. So yeah, I don't know. I would say probably like 40 hours.
Oh, that's not
with
too bad.
Bloodborne. It wasn't crazy. I on PS4 they actually track rarity on trophies, so you can actually see which trophies like a lot of people have and
Right.
Almost no one has. The platinum trophy on Bloodborne is not crazy. It's 2%, which is actually pretty high.
That
for a
is high
platinum.
for, yeah. Huh.
But you know.
So you did it. You and you think anyone can finish this game if they're self-disciplined enough?
I think there are a lot of people that will quit just out of frustration. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably one of the easier of the 3 games.
Definitely
Dark Souls
the
games.
easiest.
I think it's the easiest.
Yeah. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
E3's around the corner. Would you be going to?
I
that?
am going to E3.
You are?
Yep.
No way.
I booked it like last week because of this new thing that's coming up.
Yeah.
I got an Airbnb very close to the convention center. God bless Airbnb, because otherwise I'd be staying in Marina Del Rey, which is
Right.
a nightmare. Yeah, so that's very exciting.
That is very exciting.
E3 is a weird show. This will be my, I think, 14th,
oh my God.
which is crazy. And I always like dread it, partially dread it, but there's always a big chunk of me that's like excited.
Why did we not have like an E3 bar mitzvah thing for you last year?
That's a good question. That's a very common thing that people do is have E3 bar mitzvahs. So
Right.
really we should have.
I mean, come on.
We have to
A
pick him up
year-
in his chair right now? Or
Yes.
Oh man.
We're doing it
missed it.
right now.
You have the sheet.
We'll have to do it at the Hotel Figueroa. All right. So, anything already got your attention for E3?
E3 is a weird.
It's a
this
weird
year
show.
in particular is like very weird because I mean, there's like Halo 5.
Yeah, there's
but,
no
like,
games coming out.
Either there's no games or there are games and we just don't know about them. But honestly, I think it's more of a push away from like giant AAA and more indie and like smaller titles. And that's sort of why we don't hear about because generally like those titles don't get a lot of E3 play.
Yeah.
There will still be like the Assassin's Creed,
Of course.
obviously, and I am kind of curious to see if they can like save that franchise, which is like really like had a tough time.
I think we'll know before E3.
Yes, I think you're probably right. The one game that I'm dying to see, and I honestly have no idea because I've been expecting it for the last 3 years, is Fallout. No idea if the new Fallout's going to be shown at E3, but hopefully.
All right, so I bring E3 up for two reasons.
Okay.
One, because I think no game should ever have a release date ever. Like,
What does that mean?
I mean, stop giving a game a release date.
Like until when?
Just say it's coming.
So one day
No.
nothing, and the next day Halo 5.
But you bear with me here.
Okay.
It's so crazy.
Sure.
That all of these games,
Yeah.
they get announced and they have these lofty, ambitious release dates.
Well, some of them are like next year.
Every single game that's been released so far this year,
Yeah.
like the big ones,
Sure.
have all been delayed.
Okay. Sure.
So when you have like 100% across the board,
Okay. Do you want a snobby business reason for why they do it?
I know why.
Okay.
I know I hate that snobby business reason.
I'd like to know the snobby business
Okay.
reason.
Snobby business reason. E3 is partially for the media and partially to get PR attention.
Yes.
But the big real reason that it exists is for buyers, for media for store buyers. So like GameStop sends their retail guy to see all these games, and the retail guy's like, we need 500,000 copies of Assassin's Creed.
But don't you think that model is like dying?
It is definitely. I mean, it's a little bit moot these days because like effectively you could sit at home and get most of the E3 experience.
Right. So you can, not only can you get the whole E3 experience, let's not forget that those brick and mortar stores are quickly becoming irrelevant.
Well, but still, Amazon, I'm sure, has a buyer, and
right, Amazon has a buyer, but I mean, I don't know. Who are you that? I guess there's still a reason to own a physical copy to sell it back. But
well, here's what I will say in defense of E3. Why I'm glad it still exists is
because it's a fun party to get drunk at.
That's a good reason. Games need a week. It's the only week of the year where from obviously there's PAX and obviously there's Gamescom, but in terms of like broad media attention, it is the only week of the year that broad media attention points its direction at games.
Right. Puts the spotlight
on. So in the years when they made like a small thing in Santa Monica or whatever, it was like a much
It was
smaller
under the
show.
radar, yeah.
It was a drag because it was like there was not that level of enthusiasm across the whole world about this cool new thing. So I like E3 for that purpose, but I agree. A lot of the reason that it exists has gotten a little bit stodgy and maybe unnecessary. But, it's cool to have the spotlight.
All right. Well, there was some news earlier in the week that the game Silent Hills was not going to be a game.
Sad.
Which is really weird because I don't think you had... Remember the whole PT?
That was
That was
game?
PT, yeah.
And they took that trailer down, though, didn't they?
They took the game off the store.
And it wasn't a trailer. It was a playable
playable
demo.
I thought
teaser.
it was the teaser.
Yeah, teaser trailer.
But then the game that it was teasing is not coming.
It just got canceled this week.
So why not just keep the teaser around?
A great question.
That's a good question. So the backstory is essentially Konami, which published the game, had this deal with Hideo Kojima, who was like their all-star boy.
It was Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. He made all sorts of their biggest games. Basically had like a very unhappy split.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of it, but this is not the first time that like a Japanese developer, the guy who created Mega Man, had a big split with Capcom very recently. Essentially, a lot of these Japanese developers that are known for these huge titles are sort of moving away from the traditional Japanese culture is you get into a company and you stay there for the rest of your life.
Right. And it's like your parent and that's
it's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And these days, like there's a level of globalization happening in Japan where a lot of these like rockstar developers are like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I have a lot of cachet. I'm going to leave and do my own thing and make whatever game I want.
Right.
And my guess is that's a lot of what's going on here.
But yeah, you're right. It's like the band detaching themselves from the record label,
right?
Essentially,
or a lead singer saying like, "Screw you guys, I'm the star."
Right.
The what is his name? Justin from NSYNC.
Justin
Timberlake.
NSYNC. You mean NSYNC?
NSYNC.
I was thinking you're thinking about Zack Attack, which is a whole other thing. When Zack got a big head and left.
So what blows my mind though is I don't believe there was ever a more successful, whether or not it was deliberate, a more successful viral sort of campaign for a game in recent memory. I mean, PT knocked it out of the freaking
I love
park.
bees for that Halo thing.
Right? Like, what?
Yeah, it was amazing.
It knocked it. The game was amazing. The whole experience was amazing. The buzz that was organic
It
buzz
was like
generated.
top 3 game for me last year, and it was a demo for a game that doesn't exist. It's crazy, and it's really upsetting because, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that in the next year will buy a PS4, and there's no way for them to download the game.
Right.
Interesting point, though. If you have already downloaded the game, and for whatever reason you need to delete it for space or something like that, you can still re-download it if it's already in your library.
Great news, which I've done. So
there
I've
you
got it.
You can still, but there were people
on eBay. Yeah.
There are people on eBay selling PS4s with PT installed.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
Which is really funny because I don't know that you can play it unless you're signed into the account of the person that installed it.
Right. You would have to have like a dummy account and just sort of leave it for that eBay auction.
But it's a bizarre situation. It's a shame because, like, I don't care about Silent Hill. Honestly,
really?
I've never a fan of
1
the
and
franchise.
2? I mean, come on, dude.
I mean, they're too scary for me. Is the
my
crux of it.
God.
They're too scary.
When you go back, it's like, Jesus Christ.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like when I played it, Silent Hill 2 especially, like I played it in college. This guy had like giant stacked speakers in this tiny little dorm room, and the room would shake whenever like Triangle Man, whatever.
Pyramid Head,
exactly, came through the door with a giant sword, and I freaked me out.
Yeah, it's scary.
So-
it is scary.
So it was too scary for me to play through. Amnesia, I spent 10 minutes and I quit.
Right.
But PT was the same way, but I totally appreciated how brilliantly designed it was. The first person, the like playing with your mind, the like, did I see that? Didn't I see that stuff? It was just like really well done.
Good. So good.
And there was like a cool meta game with it, with like people trying to figure out how to get to the end. And so it is disappointing. Like, we didn't know what Silent Hills was going to be. We didn't even know if it was going to be first person like that. But there was an indication that they were trying something new.
Right.
That wasn't about like, oh, I found the cross piece that unlocks the random door.
It wasn't like
really obtuse puzzles.
Right.
So it did feel like they were trying something new. And it's a drag that's not happening.
But that's what blows my mind. So, like, here you have Konami, who is clearly aware of the runaway success that this buzz was responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Guillermo del Toro attached. Yep. They had Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead attached.
Yeah.
So where do they get off just dropping this?
I mean, again, it has to do. We have no idea what happened in those boardrooms. But
and who owns the rights to Silent Hill? It's got to be Konami.
Konami owns the rights to the franchise. Yes.
So why not just outsource it? If you're upset with Kojima, I mean, just don't get it.
Starting from scratch, you could be 2-3 years from releasing this game.
Would you think that game is coming out anytime soon?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much work was done on it.
It's crazy. It's just I'm more personally just perturbed.
I think their concern would have been if they didn't say anything. Certainly, he would have left, and they would have had to comment on it. And it could have been like Shadow. What is it? The dragon dog, Last Guardian, where it's like, what the hell?
What is happening?
Just tell us what's going on. Yeah. And like whatever. I'd rather know that it's canceled than like have it just floating.
Oh, of course, I want to know it's canceled, but I'm beyond upset with that.
It's a drag. It's really a bummer.
And then real quick, Black Ops 3.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a big Call of Duty guy. You ever played the Call of Duty games, Ian?
Once or twice, and then I got sucked in. I'm like, I have to stop playing.
Oh, because you're worried. So you're the guy who tries out crack cocaine.
And never, ever does anything again.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
That's why I was like, okay, this is awesome. I have to stop.
Right, fair enough. So Black Ops 3 which is the Treyarch side of the development. Treyarch side of the development of the duality that is Call of Duty between.
Well, it's not a duality. It's actually a triumvirate.
So it's a tribunal.
A tribunal.
So is that Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer,
right?
And now Treyarch.
And
Treyarch.
Yeah,
I'd call it Marcha.
You can do whatever you want.
And they are now taking Black Ops 3.
Right.
And it seems like it's a future game.
It is.
We don't need that.
So that was my reaction too, is that I was a little bit bummed because Black Ops 1 was one of my favorite games of the franchise, without a doubt. And a lot of the reason was it did this really cool thing where it blended fiction with reality.
Which is great.
Where you were like meeting JFK and they were tying in historical moments.
The Forrest Gump version of it. Yeah.
And then Black Ops 2, although I love the multiplayer in Black Ops 2, the campaign was kind of a disappointment because it's like future and like silly like drone magic stuff, and like it just felt very removed from the core of the franchise. And now we're getting and then Advanced Warfare came out last year. It's actually a really good game.
It's a good game, yeah.
Liked it a lot, but it does feel like, I mean, we're Titanfall, Destiny, Advanced Warfare, like every shooter these days has been near future or you know,
I can't
100 years in the
stand
future. It feels a little bit, you know, like I'm done with
Right.
it.
I don't understand why it's like every single game has this thematic sort of.
Right. And I mean, look, I haven't played it. They had an event where people like checked it out firsthand. I was not at the event, so I don't necessarily want to judge. And I will say that Treyarch on the whole makes my favorite Call of Duty games of the three companies that make them. So I have a lot of faith. I think it's going to be a good game. My chief concern is like, is this going to be able to separate itself from Advanced Warfare enough to be its own thing?
Right.
And they are doing some things that are a huge departure for Call of Duty in general. Specifically regarding this hero idea where you play as a specific character that has like super abilities that almost feels like Destiny inspired or whatever, or even like a MOBA inspired, where there are these characters that have like unique abilities.
They clearly needed to breathe new life into the specific gameplay, but I think keeping that futuristic thematic sort of thing in the background is really making it tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just want a little more variety, and I get them wanting to sort of wrap up their trilogy that they've been working on for the last 7 years.
Right.
And they, again, look like they're doing some interesting things. I just, kind of want more variety from my time periods. Like, there's so much rich stuff they could have done in the 70s and 80s, and they just kind of moved away from it.
Yeah, I want a Vietnam one.
Or even like 90s. Like, like just whatever. Let's go retro a little bit. And there was a Vietnam one, by the way. It was called World at War.
Oh, that's right.
It wasn't.
What do you want? A Gulf Storm one? Is what you're saying?
I mean, there's just a lot of cool stuff you like
touch.
where there's like an assassination mission to take out Saddam in the mid 90s. Like there's cool stuff you can do there.
And they kind of skipped.
And they just moved on, and they touched on a little bit in Black Ops 2, but I don't know. The other thing I would say is Advanced Warfare. I played a ton of Call of Duty. It kind of surpassed my ability as a multiplayer Call of Duty guy.
Yeah, it was the first game where I was like, I can't hang.
It was so fast, and there's people zooming everywhere, and I just couldn't keep up with it.
And I think people miss that, and it was nice to have that balance where you would have that with the Advanced Warfare / Ghosts one, and then things were maybe grounded a little bit more in playable reality with the Treyarch ones.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll definitely play it.
Yeah.
I definitely am looking forward to it. It's just sort of hope they bring that variety.
Right. Okay. As you can talk again.
Thank you.
Let's switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna
I just got a
pivot
freaked out email, so I just want to.
Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, well, it's just work stuff. So I'm just gonna talk about it now.
Okay.
What do you say? So
Sure,
I do this thing called NetPicks, and we release information about what's coming out on Amazon, iTunes, all this other stuff. And I got an email from a guy at Tribeca Film Festival because I had the wrong date for I Am Big Bird.
Oh no!
Which was terrible because I am really psyched about seeing I Am Big Bird.
Me
You know
too.
about the trailers?
I Am Big Bird?
I Am Big Bird.
Documentary.
It's going to be released on the same day as it's released in theaters on iTunes on May 5th, not the 8th like I had in there.
Oh no!
And so like I've corrected it right now, like while you guys were talking and everything, to make sure that information is accurate. Also, I really want to see the movie.
So it's
all
a
about
documentary about the person inside Big Bird.
Who's been the original Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch from the very beginning.
He's 85 years old.
Yeah.
And he's both of them?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like if you watch,
they talk, but don't they talk to each other?
Yeah, there's scenes with both of them, right?
but he's the guy.
And
No,
but well, I get it, but is he talking to both? He's talking.
I haven't seen the documentary in exactly. I usually when they
I don't know that
reveal,
he's right.
when they reveal Muppet stuff, I usually look away. I don't want to see it.
Oh, I like lifting
But when
the
I
curtain.
saw-
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
When I saw this guy talking as Big Bird with his hand moving in the air,
Yeah.
and you hear the voice, and he's like 85 or
Yeah.
something. It was just like, oh no, like he's really old.
Yeah.
Apparently the story covers when Jim Henson dies, and it's going to be kind of sad.
But I
I'm
don't
gonna
think that
start crying.
correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that he does day-to-day Big Bird. I think he might come in for special events,
and do ADR for
but
him?
he's 85.
He's
Like, there's
got
no way.
He's got an understudy at this
Yeah.
point who's
Oh.
like he's watching his every move, and it's like he's.
But
he's
the
not-
voice is always him.
It's always him. His
so
voice.
then he must just do ADR if they don't.
So I don't know who's in it day
He's
by
gonna-
day.
It's not like they're going to do it like Yankee Stadium where they like keep recordings of the announcer's voice.
No, they might.
Just say
let's be
every
honest.
word ever,
Or
Carol.
it's like sneakers and they just like piece the lines
But
together.
let's be honest. How much shit has Big Bird said over the years?
That's
It's always
true.
the
It's
same
been
damn thing
40
over
years,
and
so
over.
like it's crazy.
There was, I read an interesting thing about the character where initially he was just like a hobo. He was like a hick character. That was his thing.
Big Bird.
Yeah. And
I thought the Grouch was the hobo.
no, that was the original vision for Big Bird, was just like he was a country bumpkin. And it sort of morphed into just him being like a very large child.
Right.
He's also a bird.
Right. He does kind of walk around like he's got some.
He's a little aimless. He
like
did have the
some head
imaginary.
injury.
Remember the imaginary Snuffleupagus was an imaginary friend for a while.
Wait, is he not on the show anymore?
No, he is.
He
right?
is, but they eventually made him a real thing. It's like
Yeah,
only
that's
Big Bird
weird.
could see Snuffleupagus.
Oh, he was a hallucination.
Yeah, he
for
was
a
a
while.
hallucination.
And eventually they're like, there he is.
It
And
was an
like,
ayahuasca thing.
Right.
how do you not see a giant hairy elephant?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's the way.
Snuffleupagus.
I will say my
Great name.
enthusiasm for the documentary, even though I am interested, is tempered a little bit or tainted a little bit by the Elmo documentary.
because
oh,
of what.
right, yeah.
What ended up happening there. Because I saw the Elmo documentary. I was like,
It was good.
cool.
But the
yeah.
documentary was good.
The documentary was good, but it does
But they
taint the
seem-
memory of it a little bit.
Stop using
Where-
taint.
If you want to,
But I think the problem with the Elmo documentary is that it was not a good documentary because they seem to not uncover a major section of that dude's life.
it's not supposed to be like investigative
I get it.
journalism.
No, I
it's like,
know.
sit
That's
down,
my- that's
sit down
my
with
joke.
me, sit
That's
down with
my
me,
joke.
Elmo. Tell me about your horrible past.
Oh God,
Yeah.
it's so it's upsetting. Right?
It is.
And there's like you can't watch the Cosby Show now. You can't watch anything anymore.
Well, that's another gigantic issue.
Yes, I didn't want. I wanted to watch that show. My girlfriend had never seen the show.
Had never seen Cosby.
Yeah,
you
I'm like-
can still watch it.
It's not.
You can
this-
pretend that it's
no,
okay.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Everything is way, way dirtier now. When he's.
I mean,
saying
I still
stuff.
watch Ghost Dad. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's a
A
messed
nightly.
up movie.
Is that inspiring you as a dad? Is
Yes.
that how you're raising the child?
Yes.
As a ghost baby?
as a specter, yeah, for sure.
That's the
Ghost
best
baby.
idea. Yeah, I'm glad that you can figure that out and be a ghost dad. Wow, that movie was. I saw that in the theater. You believe that?
I think I did too.
I think I went to Stop or My Mom Will Shoot instead.
Oh, nice. Who with the
Sylvester
Golden
Stallone.
Girl?
Sly
and-
Stallone and the
and-
Golden Girl. Estelle Getty.
Still getting yeah.
Nice. Oh man. All right. So I'm glad you got that taken care of.
It's done.
Phew.
It's called, what is it? I Am Big Bird.
I'm Big Bird.
All right.
Sort of I Am Legend, but with Big Bird.
Right. In
It's
the
exactly the same
apocalypse,
movie.
only one 8-foot bird survives. Okay. So you threw in a few stories here that I want to get to. What's this about the good food and needing better marketing?
Yeah, there was some kind of like research where you want your kids to eat healthy stuff, and so these guys actually put menus together, and they kind of use the same marketing techniques that you would with junk foods. So in the menu, they actually put like little happy emoticons next to their healthier items. And it turns out kids actually just kind of responded to that. They constantly started ordering.
Because it's somehow animated.
Because it's got a little happy face next to it and something called a power plate. If you order a power plate, you get a little prize with that.
Sure.
So if you incentivize a kid by simple things like that, you can actually get them to eat healthy. Like I know I have trouble getting my kid to eat healthy because he's like French fries and he loves chicken tenders.
French fries are vegetables. They're fine.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine.
God, I
There's
love fries.
Never any.
They're dynamite.
They are dynamite.
It's an unsurprising results though that you can incentivize a kid to do pretty much anything. Put
All
a
right,
little emoticon there.
Well, speaking of like the wrong thing to do with healthy food, I feel like McDonald's is spiraling out of control.
Well,
Boy,
they're like on the total opposite. They realize that they're on the opposite end of like this big push to go healthy and go organic, and so like all of their commercials these days are just like, here's this raw chicken
Right.
that we made in an artisanal raw chicken house,
and
it's just lying on,
genetically
like,
engineered.
whole wheat bread,
Right.
And that's it. That's the whole sandwich. And so they're trying.
They're
but
trying, but you talk about a
tough.
brand that has such an identity crisis.
don't they own? Are they like part of the Chipotle thing?
I don't know if they're connected anymore.
They used to own Boston Market, but I don't know if they own Chipotle.
Because that's what the trick. I mean, Coca-Cola certainly mastered that because they own, I believe, Vitamin Water.
Mm-hmm.
I think they own Vitamin Water, and that's the trick, right? Is you have this brand, and who knows how long the brand will last. So you have the like low end, whatever fast food brand, and then you have like, oh, I want something quote. I mean, for a while, like Chipotle was considered like a little bit healthier. It probably is more healthy than.
I mean, if you
than
get a burrito, if
McDonald's.
you get a deconstructed burrito, it's
Yeah.
probably healthier. Yeah.
Healthier in what way?
Like
I mean,
it's
than
not-
McDonald's than like
That
a
it's
fried
not,
chicken.
It might be
not
less-
as processed.
it might be less processed, but you're having like what, like 2,000 your
no,
whole days
if you
with
take
the calories.
wrap out, you're not having that.
Oh, right, you're only
many
having
calories.
1,800. Sorry about
I
that.
don't know about
it's
that.
a lot of calories.
I
It's a
bet,
lot
I
of
bet
calories,
a deconstructed burrito bowl without sour cream and cheese
It's like 800 calories.
is maybe
which is not bad.
600 to 800 calories.
You can get
But
away with
it
that.
does like McDonald's is so made for kids. Like that's like
it's
the
completely
kids.
designed for
Right.
kids. The Happy Meal.
Right.
The
It's just like pure
quintessential.
salt
yeah.
and sugar and like I always got honey with my nuggets.
You got like honey mustard?
Yeah, no,
or just honey.
Honey. You can get that in like a little cup.
And that
you-
was.
Oh
tasted
my
good?
god!
Oh.
See, I have a lot of
that was from
pent
Rosh
up.
Hashanah, I think.
Nice. I have a lot of pent up regret about my childhood in McDonald's.
Uh-oh.
Just because, I definitely think my parents knew, like, okay, this clearly isn't the best food
Sure.
we could be giving our children. But like I had McDonald's once a week
Okay.
for a while
As a kid. Okay.
And I'm not
So what's your regret?
that I did that.
That you, as a child, chose to eat
It
McDonald's?
wasn't that I chose. I was just like,
When you're...
I was
like,
so chemically addicted to
Yeah.
it. The fact that I knew like Wednesday night I was going to get McDonald's
Yeah.
was like too much for my little brain
that's
to
how
process.
kids, they're driven by candy and sweets and stuff they like. Like in summer camp, sweets are like currency. Like candy is like currency.
Yeah. No,
The
for sure.
cigarettes of kids.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Even
That's-
in prison these days, they trade those honey buns. There's like
Right.
articles about how they trade honey buns as currency. It's like, oh, a pack of cigarettes is 3 honey buns. Which is like
Is that the
bizarre,
conversion
but
rate?
yeah, something like that.
That's insane. But yeah, but you like keep, if you can, just keep track mentally of like all the weird McDonald's commercials you
It's
see.
weird.
They are just completely
Yeah.
off
Did
the
you see
rails.
the Petaluma, California one?
No, I don't think
They're
so.
like, in this small town, things are a little slower. It seems like it looks already like a parody, and there's like an old man making an egg sandwich.
Yeah.
And it's about this little town, Petaluma, California, which I lived in for a couple of years. It's a
Wow.
really, people don't know this town. It's 40 miles north of San Francisco. Why on earth are they talking about Petaluma, California? That got my attention. I'm like, where is the McDonald's in Petaluma, California? Because they're showing a nice part of town, and that town's got the schizophrenic thing going. It's got like really nice parts and like sketchy parts.
Yeah.
And they're like right next door to each other constantly. So it's really odd. And I'm like, oh, it's in the little shopping center with that giant parking lot by the Lucky's, which is a grocery store out there. So the part of town they show in the commercial is nowhere near the McDonald's at all, because that's on the other side of town, which is all new construction, which looks...
There are 16 people nodding their heads right now.
They're like, he's exactly
I'm
right.
saying, yeah, Petaluma, California does not look like that commercial, at least not the McDonald's part of it.
They are doing
Liars.
They're doing these really weird like pop culture cartoon commercials
Yeah.
too, and you're just like, man,
They're trying.
forget it, guys. We know you know you're.
They should just lean into being unhealthy and gross.
Right.
Because everyone else is doing something different.
they,
It's like, oh, you've been eating kale all day?
right.
Kick back and have a Big Mac.
Isn't
Like,
that Fat Burgers thing?
They need to just go back and be like McDonald's. Like their new slogan should just be like McDonald's. Fuck it, right? Like that's what it should be. That's what it should
Yes.
be.
That's an idea. I mean, this stuff tastes. They can just follow your taste buds, kind of thing.
and just
I'm picturing like working for the weekend playing over the commercial.
everybody's
And then it's like,
Danny
oh, I'm eating
McBride
gross
just like
salad.
slow motion
Yeah.
throwing nuggets and fries in his face. McDonald's, fuck it, right?
I should be making millions on Madison Avenue right now.
It's true, dude. Like just embrace it. Embrace it that you're filth.
Yeah.
Because you got companies like Sonic that clearly don't give a
Oh, yeah.
give a
Sonic
crap.
is totally doing that.
Sonic's just like, hey, we make
Dairy Queen,
sugar
same
water,
way.
and all these companies that are just like, whatever. Embrace it,
Yeah.
man. Even Taco Bell, like Taco Bell, remarkably is winning the breakfast wars
Yeah.
of breakfast sandwich
Their
fast
ad
food.
for that freaking crunch wrap. They're like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you know what this thing doesn't? The other ones don't have. They don't have a hash brown in it."
Right,
And I'm like,
exactly.
I've had one of these.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
try.
you have?
I've tried it once.
What are they like?
They're horrible.
Is
It's
bad,
It's just
or-
grease and grease.
Well, obviously.
and
Oh,
grease.
like super processed.
No, I mean even an egg McMuffin doesn't taste as bad as this.
I
is what
kind
I'm
of like
saying.
McDonald's breakfast. I'll
Yeah,
give them
me
that.
too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it actually, like McDonald's tastes healthy compared to the Taco Bell crunch wrap thing.
Well, and
Well,
like
yeah.
there's something that rubs me the wrong way about their whole breakfast defector campaign.
Oh, yeah.
With a pseudo Russian.
Where I'm just like,
Fun.
guys, we're talking about a $3 breakfast sandwich.
But that's
So-
a big part of their, like, if people aren't showing up before noon, that's
Yeah.
a lot of audience
It's true.
they're missing.
It's
So
true.
It makes sense.
Man, all right. The breakfast sandwich wars continue. Let's talk about the HoloLens real quick.
Oh yeah.
So there was a Microsoft Build event earlier this week that I kind of got a little bit of. I was still on paternity leave, but what happened?
Yeah, so what happened, we had two guys out from CNET there.
Okay.
And for the demos, they actually had Nick Stat and Nate Ralph build apps to see how easy it is to make apps for the HoloLens, and then they actually got to try it out.
And how'd that go?
Apparently it was super easy, and Nick was saying like he wants one. Like his article leads off, I want one. It ends with I want one. Because the hardware is actually like the demos they kept showing, like
Yeah.
the little demo unit. The first one they tried out when they originally showed the HoloLens, they compared to something that you'd see at the optometrist's office.
Oh, okay.
But this one is actually the slick version.
Sure. Smaller.
And it's ready to go, it looks like. And they said something like they got to try it out for like 90 minutes and then they had to start charging it. Because for me, I've been thinking about the HoloLens.
Yeah.
It's really cool looking. But how long is it going to survive? It's
Sure.
completely enclosed.
Seems like it's not meant to leave the house though.
That's right, because they were
Right.
claiming like it's people move, not devices. That was the thing with build. But looking at this thing, I mean, I want it to work. I want to be able to put this stupid thing on my head and look at there's a TV over there, whatever apps are going on. But then you can turn your head away from it versus like a Google Glass, which is always there.
Yeah, but it's still there.
Yeah,
I mean, you turn your head, you're still wearing a helmet.
Oh no, I'm talking about the screen being in front of me.
I understand.
I understand. The HoloLens doesn't like pop off my head attached to a drone. That'd be neat. But that's what I'm talking about with that.
Yeah, I just haven't. There's nothing that I could see in a HoloLens that would like give me a great reason. Like I don't know what the argument is yet.
Small apartment. I have a small apartment.
Small apartment. If they had an interactive video game where I didn't have to get up,
Sure.
and I could like play a game on my lap, if that makes sense, where I'm like looking down at my lap
But
and
wouldn't
there
you
the game
rather
is.
like augment like a Oculus style? Like, I mean, that's effectively.
It's different.
Yeah, because
It's different.
This is more augmented.
It's just different. This is augmented, where it's combining reality.
Right. It feels like augmented might be a little more limiting in that sense, though, because you have to deal with like physically what's in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the HoloLens is a deliberate hallucinogen, sort of thing, where like you're seeing things in the world.
Right. It just
where
it seems cute.
VR is just you're entering another world.
HoloLens seems like a cute thing. It doesn't really feel like a product that people like I would buy. Whereas I don't know.
Right.
It just doesn't. I don't get.
I'm not
the
sold
reason
on it yet. You should read what these guys wrote. It is convincing, but again, and how far out is this?
Oh, I don't know. There's no release date for this thing.
Every time they show it off, the prototype changes like severely.
Well, and they've shown the same style, the super slick version on stage. But the thing that they actually get the guys to demo was different.
Yeah.
Now it's actually the same.
Okay.
And what I like about Microsoft, and this is a phrase that people don't say very often, they got some really crazy ideas. I mean, this shouldn't work, and the Kinect shouldn't have worked, and it didn't for a while.
Kinect is a failure.
The idea of it, though, like to say, like, we're not going to do motion control without a controller, right? Like Sony did the Move after the Wii was already around.
Right.
It's like,
Failure.
Let's put a little ball on top of a controller. Like
Total failure.
this idea of like don't use a controller. I think it's gutsy. I can't believe that they're the ones trying it.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing like Surface stuff for a while. Remember
Like the
Microsoft
table?
Surface? Not the tablet, the
table.
Yeah,
the tabletop stuff. It's probably they don't get it twisted. These guys have a crap load of money that they probably just devote to R&D on a lot of weird stuff.
Right. The question is, once the hardware gets out, once it's released, is it traditionally Microsoft products tend to be bogged down by bureaucracy and like feature jam. Like every department needs their little feature in the product.
Right.
Are we seeing a new Microsoft, which is like a more clean, straightforward, and obviously Windows 10 will be a big part of that. But like traditional, like they just in recent years have just gotten more and more bloated and like tied to, well, this is our overarching message for Microsoft and everything needs to fit inside this box, and it's really held them back.
People are annoyed by their branding. Like their ecosystem is annoying to people.
I don't know why they're still using the live tiles on Windows 10. I think people hate it.
Yeah.
I could be dead wrong. But I don't know. It just seems like a step, like they're just leaning into something that everyone didn't like, and it just screams Windows 8 to me.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But that's that. Drone graffiti.
It's a thing.
Drone graffiti. This is
very cool.
This is kind of awesome.
What's this guy's name? His name is Katsu, right? He's a guy that
Katsu's a big graffiti artist.
No, back in April,
I'm familiar with him.
Then you'll be familiar with what he does later. So he actually attached a spray paint can to a drone a while ago in April. He was showing that off. He was doing demos on Canvas. It's like, hey, look what I can do. Mm-hmm. So what he actually did fairly recently, it was Wednesday night apparently, he brought a drone with the spray paint can to Houston and Broadway and defaced a Calvin Klein's jeans ad. He just spray painted red lines on the face of Kendall Jenner, I guess she's the model, just across the lines there. And he says he's going to kind of release this information out to other people. So if they want to do this, they can have their own drones do graffiti.
So let me ask, is he directly controlling it while he's doing the graffiti, or is it like he runs a program and it like follows like a pattern?
I would imagine, just judging from the end result of what it looked like.
Yeah.
No, I
He
would
says
say
here-
it's just him
It's
doing
just-
it
yeah,
He
manually.
says 70% of the concentration is in maintaining this equilibrium with the two-dimensional surface you're
Okay.
painting. So he's doing a lot of the work to
Sure.
make this thing
So
fly.
it's like
Right,
he's
and-
doing like you're painting with like a mouse.
It
on
looks
MS
like he
Paint.
used MS Paint.
Yeah, but with like a 3-axis sort of thing in one hand, and then like
Sure, it's
yeah.
crazy.
So the thing that's weird too is I'm sure he had to like shake the can a little bit too.
Oh,
right, with the
interesting.
drone,
I guess
because
so.
you can't just spray.
You could probably wobble a drone,
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can't just. Although when you shake a spray paint can, you really gotta.
It might be
shake
faster to just like pre-shake and then send it up, right?
because you can see the way his stream came out. Like it sort of fizzles out, and then he did something where this is really cool.
It's
though.
neat.
And the thing that's cool, in the world of graffiti, like all these guys care about is getting as high up as they
Right.
possibly can.
This
right?
sort of like breaks. It kind of breaks some of that enthusiasm, right? Because it's
Right.
like, oh, you
It's-
could go to the top of the
it's
Empire
like
State
cheating.
Building.
It's like
Yeah,
cheating
right.
essentially. But Katsu's this pretty well-respected graffiti artist.
It's neat.
His stickers are all over Manhattan. You'll see him.
You know what this
everywhere.
reminds me of is in Demolition Man when Edgar Friendly has that spray
Yes.
paint thing that comes out of the ground. And does
Exactly.
right.
Huh.
So then they have like the anti-thing that takes off the
Yes.
graffiti
Yeah.
there too?
So there you go.
Or is
That's
it the
the
wall? It
response.
goes,
Right,
it goes
and it
away.
zapped
Right.
it. Zapped it. Yeah, this is really cool though.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube
Um,
video out there too if you want to see it actually work. I mean, this is ballsy though.
It's ballsy, and yeah, I mean,
it's a well-lit
it's pretty,
billboard.
it's pretty massive. And think about it, like, it's real easy to get caught doing
Well, couldn't
graffiti
you now,
when
like,
it's you.
do people know who it is? Like his real name and like.
Katsu?
Yeah.
No, I believe he's anonymous.
Okay. Because you could theoretically, like, if he makes a big deal, you could get arrested, right? for
Of
doing that?
course,
Wait,
but
this is
Even
vandalism.
after the fact,
of
right?
course you're not allowed to do this. But
Right.
most graffiti is not sanctioned.
No,
I mean,
I understand. It's just interesting.
Oh, the video is crazy just to see this little
Yeah.
thing flying near the
yeah,
face.
it's really awesome. This is my favorite thing of the week. I wonder how, if other people are going to be doing it, right? But like for me, if I'm one of these guys, I'm like, man, this is just the beginning. This is going to get really good, and then I don't even need to like be the guy who's going to get pulled down off the building. It's just my drone,
Right.
How are they going to trace me? Like,
Right.
this is
You could be on a building
yeah,
3 blocks away.
This is kind of amazing.
Oh,
I'd be
it's
in an
crazy.
apartment across the street. No one would ever know.
Did you have less credibility though? You're like, well, you're one of those drone graffiti guys, not one of the regular ones.
I mean, there was that drone that crashed on the White House lawn. Like,
Right.
Did they find the guy who did that?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
But will this strip cred from graffiti artists? You'll have to talk to Banksy. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll be sure to call him.
I'm
Next
gonna
time.
I'm gonna tweet at him and see what he
Just
says.
see what he says.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
He is the guy.
He's their
I saw that
biggest guy.
documentary.
It's a great documentary.
It is.
Okay. That does it for stories. We have a few minutes left for some stuff from the subreddit. It's mostly, trivial sort of stuff, but nevertheless, there's a few tidbits here and there.
Don't knock the subreddit.
Amazing. So people actually bother to write comments.
but
and you're like,
it's,
it's trivial.
who cares?
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks for writing.
So here's the thing. So we're going to talk briefly about Avengers 2. You
No,
saw it, right?
No, I have not.
Oh, you
seen
didn't?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you didn't see it
I'm not
either?
seeing it
Okay,
on
well then we
It's not
can't.
out yet.
No, but there's been screenings
Yeah,
this
well.
week.
Some people.
We're schlubs.
I thought you were going.
That's a whole long story.
All right. Well, first one comes from Misfired Neurons. This is a very relevant question for
Okay.
me. NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
Do they take you away from the baby or the other way around? This is directed at me,
Sure.
obviously. This has been the greatest thing ever.
Are the Devils in the playoffs?
No,
I had
Devils
no
aren't,
idea.
which
Okay.
is great because if Devils are in the
Sure.
play, I'd be a madman.
Right. Right.
But now that I have no horse in this race,
Yeah.
I can watch it and just be enjoying it.
Sure.
And
the sport of it.
The sport of it. And the first couple of nights, he was born 2 days before they started.
Right.
So as soon as they started on Wednesday the 15th,
And when they end, he'll be 15 years old because it takes so goddamn long.
it takes a while. But he'd be up all night and games go on till 2 a.m. because
Sure.
of the West Coast
Right.
games. So this was
Oh, you have
the
stuff
best
to
thing
do, yeah.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting every night at 7, there's 7 hours of games.
Right.
So it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm not ignoring my baby. He's in one arm. I mean, I'll tell you what, he's already seen about 25 hockey games, which is amazing.
Good
He's
start.
probably got the record for that. But yeah, it's been
His
great.
first words will be blue line. And you're like, what?
Yeah, you'd be like, what? Icing is your first name? Are you guys excited for Avengers 2? We didn't talk anything about it this week.
I'm seeing it on Saturday, I think, at 10:30 a.m. because
Oh,
I'm an old man.
You have it all planned out.
Yeah.
When's it come out? Today?
It comes
Officially
out today.
today.
I don't know. I'm torn because I like the first one. I didn't love it. I just feel like as these movies go on and the stakes get higher and higher, and we're dealing with like giant purple guys with super powered rings and blah 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 blah, that's where it loses.
His name is Thanos.
Thanos, yeah.
I understand, but that's where it loses me. I'm more interested, like the spirit of that last scene in the shawarma house of Avengers 1 is what keeps me interested in those movies, is like the very grounded, human, funny moments of those movies I enjoy. And then once it gets into like the action stuff, it's just like such CG insanity that I'm not as engaged with it. And it feels like as these movies will progress, they'll just get more and more and more CG insanity.
Which is why the Batman movies are so good.
Yes.
Because they're not heavily reliant on
the
CG.
First and second one, and the third one was poopy.
The third one, but it was still good.
It was good. It wasn't awesome.
It wasn't amazing,
Sure.
but like, you know, even the Batman vs Superman trailer, which looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
Like that movie's clearly gonna suck balls.
Yeah.
And it's because it's not it. I still think the reason all of those great Batman movies, and I say Batman because Batman's the only one where they like kind of ground it in reality in some capacity.
Well, the characters.
The character is
It
very
has
much
to be.
grounded in
Right.
reality. So for me, that's what it was. That's why for me, the first Ninja Turtles movie is so goddamn
Right.
good, because it's like, it's still real.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to say like, oh, you're just an old man and CG turns you off. Well, no.
And it's not only that, like, you're not the only one, because obviously J.J. Abrams feels the same way, because
Right.
they've been done new Star Wars. It's like very traditionally done.
And his Star Trek movies are great like
Right.
that.
You know, it's
even though-
interesting, all the CG talk, because Nolan hates CG.
Yeah.
And anything he do practically, he does. And
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it looks-
Inception had a good amount of it.
Well, yeah,
but-
I mean, it's a little
Batman
bit.
too, yeah.
But it's a little bit different.
Of course.
a lot of,
but
whatever you
he-
can do practically,
but
he does it,
He tries to hide it though.
which is good.
in the sense where
versus
like,
like
the
embracing
Avengers
it.
are Avengers, it's just like
the Avengers movies are like the summer things that happen in Marvel Comics anyway. So if you want the grounded stories, you watch the individual ones. So like Captain America, the last one, like it was like
It was-
a political thriller.
Okay.
So you're saying this
was
is like an
super
opus-
grounded until a giant
What is this?
sky ship came into the last Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't-
came
I
into
don't
the
see
sky
those.
and was shooting lasers
You're
all
gonna
over
have
town.
to do that. Okay, that's just part
That
of the.
bums me out. I like the first half
There's
of that
also,
movie,
like-
and then it just sort of
Well,
got
then I guess you guys
crazy.
take the Fox universe, and the Fox universe of it's like all grounded with Fantastic Four and X Men.
I've been more interested in X-Men, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like the
Well,
last
it's the same
X-Men
way the
movie, I
books
was,
are,
like,
right?
more-
Like I didn't
Sure.
want to read Silver Surfer after a while because like, oh, flying dude with a
yeah.
surfboard.
But that's him.
But yeah, the
That's
cosmic
a-
side of that's the thing. Marvel's cosmic side is all over the Avengers because the only thing that could take on the Avengers
Yeah.
has got to be
That's-
ridiculous.
that's the
Why on
exact-
earth would you
right.
need these 5 or 6 people? You got the Hulk and you've got Captain America.
So you're saying a nemesis would have to be so over
It
the
has
top.
to be.
Yeah, it has
Otherwise,
to be.
like it should be like, why does it take all of you? Just one of you, like
Right.
one of you, just take care of
It
this.
should just be like Iron
Like,
Man.
what could the Joker do to the Avengers to do like? See, I
Oh
realize
my
that's
god, they
DC.
chop his head off.
Well,
That'd be
right,
hilarious.
exactly, like instantly.
Like Thor's there is like, I'm a god, so
See, that's
this is
silly.
over.
So, and that's the issue. Is like you just the scale gets so outlandish.
That's
that, like,
that's why Superman movies have a hard time succeeding.
and that's why the only
Well,
good
that's
Superman
why he's the
movie.
worst one ever.
Well, there are a few good Superman
I'm
movies,
saying
but the
he's
best
the worst
one.
character ever.
But the best one was the one where he lost all his powers and was a human being,
Right.
and like
well,
there
2
was
was
a
pretty good.
concern.
Well, the end of
Which
2
one was that? 3?
That's 2.
That's 2.
Oh, okay.
He gives up his power. What do you mean? The whole movie is with Zod.
Sure.
I'm just saying with that end, the super
Where
kiss,
they
man.
get shot into space as a crystal.
The
Yeah,
super kiss
in the mirror.
where he knocks out Lois's memory of the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
thing.
whatever.
That ruins the whole
Whatever.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
But
okay.
yes, 2
I'm
is really
okay.
good. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, I just
But that's the thing. He needs to have a challenge.
Right.
we've talked so much about how much Superman sucks, but I think more with the Avengers is like because of all that, I am so disenchanted with anything Avengers. Like I would only see Avengers because every now and then I like Robert Downey Jr. being a wise ass.
Right, and Robert Downey Jr. is a grounded character.
Mhm.
And if they did, from what I understand about Hawkeye, right, that's a character.
Hawkeye's his name.
The
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
bow and arrow guy.
His comic iteration is like a very grounded, like schlubby character that would like be interesting as well. So
Mhm.
like that's what I want to see out of these movies. And like I was hoping that Ant-Man would be a little more like that, but Ant-Man, the trailer looked like crazy.
I didn't watch it. What is that? What's the take on that?
It looked, I don't know.
I
thought
haven't
it
seen the
looked
trailer either.
Goofy. It was
kinda
originally going to be directed by what's his name from Scott Pilgrim, that director.
Oh, he's good.
But he moved on. It was supposed to be like a true comedy with Paul Rudd, and now it just feels like they're just bringing more into this like giant mammoth Avengers universe.
Oh god.
And I don't know, it just like bring the stakes back a little.
Right.
Bring
That's
it
the
back.
thing too. Like I think they constantly are just so over the top. Even with this crossover stuff, it's just like you realize when you blow your load like that, there's nothing you can do.
That
now.
being said, each and every single one leapfrogs the last one in terms of money it's making. So like,
right.
And
so it's why stop?
right. Well, I'm the snob that like wants a more grounded movie, but clearly
for
the
you.
masses love what they're doing.
I'm sure
so
we'll
they're
get some
gonna
more
keep doing
ground. Like Daredevil's really grounded in that TV show.
it. Sure, but
And,
that's
like,
a TV show.
That's the
certainly
same way
different.
that the books are, right? So there are more grounded books, and then there's
right.
Avengers right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna the fact that Disney keeps making just money hand over fist, they're gonna
Yeah.
keep trying to expand that as much as they can. And they bought up as many rights as possible.
Right.
I think
They're going to do Doctor Strange and Black Panther.
Who cares
and
about Doctor Strange?
It's well, but people
Benedict
said the same thing
Cumberbatch.
about Guardians of the Galaxy. No
That
one
was-
had any idea what
that
there's
was
a
right,
raccoon.
but we are familiar with. I mean,
Did you knew Guardians of the Galaxy?
I didn't know.
before?
I didn't know what that was.
Sure.
But if I was behind the scenes, and I mean that source material is great. I mean, they're a great.
Well, there's some good
Gaggle of
Doctor Strange stuff too,
Is
and
there?
that
There
could
is.
be really fun.
Is
Like,
there?
there's like 40, 50 years worth of stuff.
That's
you
what
can
I'm
find
saying.
a
and
good,
he's like a weird guy that doesn't really fit into the.
Maybe I'm just
rest of the
too.
archetype.
Maybe I'm not familiar enough with his
It's
with
possible.
his work. All right. What about that Tomorrowland movie?
Oh, that looks good.
does
I
right.
think it does look good.
completely blanking.
Is
on
that
this
good? It's the
George
is it-
Clooney,
it-
directed by
Disney.
Brad Bird.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Incredibles
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
It does sound good.
Here is my
Remember the
concern
trailer.
about that movie. George Clooney, big star, kind of like an older gray-haired gentleman in that sort of movie that's clearly going to be a franchise. What do you think is going to happen to George Clooney before the movie ends?
Yeah,
I think there's 100% likelihood that he does not live through that movie.
but it's called Tomorrowland.
Maybe he de-ages.
Yeah, maybe he Benjamin Buttons
Sorry.
his
He's
way
definitely
into
not.
another-
They're going to make sequels, and he definitely won't be in the sequel. So, like, that's I don't know.
Wow. So this is like
It's not a spoiler. It's just
premeditated-
I've seen
It's a prediction
enough of these
spoiler.
things.
But they shot like 5 at one time.
George
Yeah.
Clooney is not Johnny Depp. He's not going to come back for 4 sequels.
Yeah.
He's going to do one and be like, "Oh, I'm going to go off and save Africa now."
Right. That's so funny.
But the movie looks terrific, and Brad Bird on the whole, I think, makes very good movies. So
He does. He's a smart dude.
yeah,
All right. Well, I think that's all we can handle for today.
wow, that was far-ranging.
Yeah, we covered a little bit of
Ran the
everything.
gamut.
Mhm.
Nice little potpourri
Yeah.
of discussion topics.
Yeah,
Mr. Frushtick, always a damn pleasure.
thank you.
Where can everyone follow you outside of whatever it is you do for a living?
So just at Russ Frushtick on Twitter.
And what's your Meerkat?
I don't
And
know.
what's your Periscope?
At Russ Frushtick. That's the problem with Meerkat. Like, what am I going to make a separate account?
I know.
Where's the Periscope?
And
It's like-
Meerkat just came to Android today, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's poor Meerkat. I
too
feel-
little, too late, Meerkat.
It's just it's such a shame for them. It's like they had this amazing one day.
They had a solid week.
It was an amazing. It was less than that. It was like a day,
Yeah.
and then Periscope's like, "Hey,
I think they're all ridiculous. The fact they don't let anyone stream horizontally. What the hell's that?
Right.
What is that?
that is bizarre. I never thought about that."
What
But
is
I guess the benefit of that is that you can keep the aspect ratio.
But still, like
It's like
still.
why Snapchat or why Instagram is the way it is because it keeps the aspect ratio.
kills me.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do all that. We'll follow you on all those things, and I guess that's where it's going to end.
That's it.
Stay in touch with the show. Shoot us an email, the44@cnet.com, and you can reach out on Twitter at the404. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I guess we're there. Not
We're
very.
there.
Are we there?
Occasionally.
We're there occasionally.
I'm there.
Wait, Jeff, speaking of social media, can we talk about the last social media tweet that I commented on where you're like, what's the deal with these? And there's just the little plastic things at the end of like a clothing tag.
Wait, what happened?
I didn't say what's the deal with these.
Jeff is notoriously bad at social media. We're trying to get him better at it. And this
I'm
is
so
this
bad.
is his effort.
I'm so bad. People
You
Seinfeld.
turned bright red. You can't see this on the audio. He's bright red right
people go out of their way to tell me how bad
It's
I am.
just so
like
funny.
people I don't even know.
It's like a performance piece on like
It's my
bad
art.
social media.
It's my art.
You are the Andy Kaufman of social media.
Why the this
so
is so
funny.
bad. And now it's gonna bite me in the ass.
Or it might
It
totally
is-
pay off where people just follow you out of the novelty of
Or
it.
they're just like you this guy's so,
now. You'll be like the new Iron Sheik.
Yes.
You follow Iron Sheik?
no,
See the documentary?
no.
Oh man, it's something, man.
I'm sorry. That was a brief detour.
Why am I so bad?
You just like you
I just
gotta
don't
like.
get it. You think I don't
I
get
don't think
it?
you get it. You're like
Shit.
grandpa going on there.
Really?
I hate that they don't show Jeopardy at 7 anymore.
What I tweet?
That's all you tweet about.
There's been a few diamonds in the rough.
There have been every once in a while. Yes.
I guess a broken clock being right twice a
There you
day
go.
isn't good enough for me. Then. All right. Well, I guess follow me on Twitter if you can. That'll help me out a lot emotionally,
Give him tips.
professionally, emotionally, just to give me tips about what I'm doing wrong. Appreciate that. So stay in touch, and we're back here next week with a brand new show. Until then, I'm Jeff Bakalar.
I'm Ayaz Akhtar.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
This has been the 404 Show. High tech, lowbrow. Thanks again. Seriously, everyone wishing us all those kind gestures and kind words. Really appreciate it. We're back next week. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend.